Among the drug police, this is what's known as a knock and talk at a rundown house in Artesia, New Mexico. The knock and talk is what officers use when they don't have a warrant, but want the meth dealers and users to know the cops are on their case. The drug task force came here looking for someone wanted on a warrant, but instead they find this man, and he doesn't want to answer their questions.
Straight up.
All right.
What do you got?
I got a little container.
What? Got some meth in it?
Yeah.
Okay. Babe!
Inside the house, the man's wife is holding a baby and crying. 2 other children are at school.
All right. I don't got nothing. All right.
Why are you looking here?
I know, baby.
Hold on, man. We're just talking to
Look at it. How much is it? I don't know. Gram? No. Yeah, about 4 grams. That's ice.
Dave Edmondson is a sheriff's deputy who heads the Pecos Valley Task Force.
And so obvious. I mean, you look at him, you see the lump in his pocket, you know something's there.
Did you see his face twitching?
Oh, yeah, and then he's saying,
Obvious.
oh, I got nothing,
Obvious he had something. Obvious. I mean, the face is twitching. He's trying to get away,
Yeah.
and you can just tell.
He had it kept away from where the kids could get to it, but still don't make it right. And when their parents are under the influence and raising kids.
It's not just knock and talks. Drug raids are so common here that the cops make music videos about them for their own entertainment.
We're all stars now in the dope shop.
High-quality methamphetamine, some of it 90% pure, known as ice, is flooding over the border from Mexico into the wide-open Southwest. It's put the homegrown laboratories out of business and spread a plague of meth addiction among the oil fields and working-class towns of southeast New Mexico.
Now, how far away is the next one?
It's not very far.
So we're just working blocks away from the police department.
Yeah, but you got to look at Artesia. Artesia's only 26 blocks wide.
Last year, Edmondson arrested roughly 1% of the population in his territory, 1 out of 100 people on drug charges.
80% of all of our cases are meth cases. And here, the past 3 months, I would say 90% is all meth cases.
Is the whole meth scene bigger in this area of New Mexico?
Definitely.
We're told about this higher intensity Mexican meth that's been coming in now.
It's
Bad.
pretty much an instant insanity if you want to know the truth. I mean,
It's really powerful stuff?
Yeah.
Jack and Dee Dee, who didn't want us to use their last names, are the face of meth addiction. They're what's called tweakers. She's 35, he's just 41. Both addicted since they were teenagers.
And you do the drugs every day?
Sometimes. Not when we first got together. We first got together as a blur.
non-stop. Here
Unless
lately,
we did everything.
we actually were clean for what, 3 weeks? Actually, yeah, we're
Yeah,
clean and
clean.
sober for like 3 weeks, honestly. And that's the
Didn't have
first
nothing
time
to
I've been
drink, no
clean that
drugs,
long since
Not even Tylenol
I was a
PM.
kid.
Yeah, it was great.
That was great, but it didn't last.
Their addiction is fed by a network of traffickers and dealers who skirt the cops every day. Impounded vehicles show how the drugs are cleverly hidden. In the dashboard of cars, inside the gas tank.
And you can tell where they have modified the gas tank. This shouldn't be here, these bolts and stuff, and that's usually how they find that.
Behind a false front on a tractor trailer.
They actually took this off, put the compartment in, and then put this back on, is what they did.
And
Sometimes
this
they
is
have several.
typical. They're constantly finding almost new places in vehicles to put
Right,
drugs.
every time you find a new one, they try to change the location because they know you're looking for that certain area of the vehicle. They'll change the location of the vehicle. They'll use any part of the vehicle they could possibly use to hide as much as they can.
And you still, they continue to surprise. You still haven't seen everything.
Right, right. This car, if you notice, there's a ton of air freshener. It's just, nobody keeps that much air freshener in their car.
The police estimate that they intercept at most 10%. Even secondary checkpoints 100 miles from the border can't stop the flow. Bob Sullivan heads the regional task force that targets meth traffickers.
Their intelligence gathering capabilities are probably as good, if not better, than ours are. Because we're much more visible than they are. With the uniforms and the marked cars especially, it's not hard to figure out where we're at.
So you hit them too hard in a place like this and they'll just go somewhere else.
Yes.
It's a huge front that you have to defend.
Oh, indeed.
Occasionally, it ends with a car chase. A suspected dealer in that car dumped a 7-pound bag of meth out the window before the pursuit ended on city streets. But arrests don't seem to put much of a dent in the supply. Ask Jack and Dee Dee.
What, if anything, can stop the meth traffic in this part of the world?
Can't
I don't
stop
know.
it. They can't stop it because it's too easy to make. It's too easy for them to make.
So no matter who got arrested, you've never gone wanting for meth? Never makes a dent?
Back on the circuit of knock and talks, task force officers arrive in mid-afternoon at a house where there are 2 men, a woman, and 2 teenagers who ought to be in school.
She come out, cooperated, consented to the search, and actually helped the agents recover the meth.
There is meth in there.
There is meth in there, and they're in there searching, they're seizing what's in there.
Now, why would she give permission if she obviously knows she's got meth in the house?
Pretty much because of the odor in the house, the marijuana, because they've been smoking marijuana in there, that's enough for us to get a search warrant.
One man wanted on a warrant is taken away in handcuffs. The father of one of the teenagers sits on the front stoop.
Jay, you ain't got nothing on you, man. Do we need to know about, do you? Nothing at all?
At times it seems as if they could knock on almost any door and find drugs, that nothing they do makes a difference. It seems they are losing.
We are losing. And you know, the problem is the funding has not increased over the past 10 years. And the problem has increased.
The drugs have, yeah.
The drugs have increased, the problem has increased, and the funding has not increased.
The officers complain about dwindling money and revolving door laws that put users and dealers back on the street. Just blocks from his office, Bob Sullivan walks a neighborhood where his officers have busted a lot of front doors. One of few indicators of success, the price of meth is up to about $1,600 an ounce.
That's why I think that's some of the good news that we have is the price is way up. It's almost doubled in the last year.
On the last stop of the day, the officers hit a ramshackle apartment building that's been a magnet for drug users. They make another arrest, a man wanted on a warrant. They've dealt with him before. This is Brian Rooney for Nightline in Artesia, New Mexico.